Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I would imagine by now that you've probably seen on American news channels the fact that Germany recently had elections, and so did Europe in general for the European Parliament, and that some far right wing parties were elected into government, and that their number one platform is curbing or outright stopping immigration. Let's talk about that. So, yeah, there has been a wave here in Europe, Germany particularly, in which right wing parties have been platforming on this idea that we need to either curb or stop immigration because things are kind of getting out of control. What's really crazy is there was already a trend in Germany toward curbing immigration. And then, about a week and a half ago, prior to the filming of this video, there was a pretty bad knife attack in the city of Mannheim. I'll give you a little bit of background there. There was a political party that was holding a demonstration, which is their right under political speech and free speech, in which they were saying that Europe needs to really open its eyes and ears to the threat of Islamicism. Now, when I say Islamicism, I'm not talking about anti-Islam. What I'm talking about are people who use their religion as a weapon and who try to come into Europe and forcibly convert their, the culture to the way they think it should be. So during this peaceful demonstration, where all these people were doing was expressing their rights as under freedom of speech, when sure enough, and as a Muslim took offense at what was being said, pulled out a knife and started attacking those who were speaking, and he injured quite a few people, and I mean seriously injured. And when a policeman tried to stop him, he stabbed the policeman in the neck several times and killed him. This was only a week and a half before the election, so you can imagine where there was already a trend toward curbing immigration to now the great majority, and I mean the great majority of Germans are now saying that the immigration policies of the last 20 years have been a failure. But we need to talk about what they're really meaning when they say immigration. There's two types of immigrants that they're concerned about. One are those that are coming in illegally. This is no different than those who are coming in illegally over the border with Mexico. It's the same situation. There are too many people who have no right to be in Germany who are, making their way across the Mediterranean up through Italy or through Bulgaria, Romania, whatever, and they're ending up in Germany or France or the Czech Republic or what have you. And they are overwhelming the system. Both the medical system, the criminal justice system, the education system, and it's just really, really, really causing a problem because these people are not skilled workers. Many of them cannot read and write. And I hope I don't get blasted for saying this, but these are people who maybe aren't coming here with the best of intentions and maybe aren't the best neighbors. Now, Germany needs immigration. Germany welcomes immigrants. But what we're talking about here are people who are not helping the economy, but instead are just coming here to get what they can get and go. But it's kind of like this. And I was talking with some colleagues of mine recently, and this is the way I framed it. If you live in an upper middle class neighborhood and a woman knocks on your door and she's bloodied up and she says, "My husband's been beating me. I need somewhere to stay for the night." Now, really, you should call the police, but whatever. You let her in. You say, "Okay, you can stay the night, but tomorrow you need to find somewhere to go, somewhere, something to do with yourself." And the next day, she's just not in a state to be able to go out and help herself find a job or find a place to live. So she says, "Can I stay the weekend?" And a weekend suddenly turns into a week turns into a month. And then the next thing you know, her kids have moved in with you, all 5 of them. And then her relatives, and none of them have gone and gotten jobs. And instead, they're all sitting in your living room watching TV all day, eating out of your refrigerator, trashing your house. At some point, they got to go. And that's kind of the situation that's happened here. There has been a marked rise in violent crime in Germany. Now, granted, nothing compared to the United States, but by European standards, there's been a rise in violent crime, and there is a direct correlation to who it is that are committing these crimes. And while the average German is very understanding and about immigration and very welcoming, there gets a point There just gets a point when it's overwhelming. Now, when you consider that Germany took in 1.5 million Ukrainians during the war, now these are just Ukrainians. Think about the fact that Germany only has a population of 82 million people. 1.5 million people is a lot. And when there was already a housing crunch, there was already a strain on the education system. It's the breaking point. So now if you add in illegal immigrants, which are coming in, depending on your estimates, between 10 and 20,000 people, I think it's a week, there's only so many you can absorb to the point you can't absorb anymore. And so these parties are saying, look, we've got to stop the illegal immigration. It has to stop. The other part of that is the people who are legally here who commit crimes need to be expelled, because as it is right now, if somebody is an immigrant and they commit a crime, it's very difficult to expel them from the country. That has to change also, according to these parties. But before you get too concerned that these right-wing parties are going to take the German government far to the right, I need to reassure you, it doesn't work that way. Unlike the United States, where you only have two major political parties so that the winning party can kind of dominate the politics, under German law, no one party can rule. There is a requirement that there be a coalition government. So anybody in order for the right-wing government, if they were to actually, get the outright majority, they would have to form alliances with center-right groups or even center-left groups, which would automatically moderate their tone. And it doesn't matter what they say on their platform, whatever laws they try to enact have to conform with the German basic law, which is our version of the Constitution. So again, it sounds like there's this massive lurch to the right, but there really isn't. You may have also heard that both the Italians and the French also elected right-wing governments, and that the Polish government is right-leaning. So I can understand where it sounds like the governments here, Europe in general, is going to the right. But the truth is, in the same elections, right-wing governments in Slovakia and Hungary lost power because their electorates pushed those countries back toward center-left. So sure, the right-wingers are getting some attention in the international news, but the left-wingers got some ground also. So by and large, Europe didn't change that much. The European Parliament is going to be a little more conservative. And the truth is, something needs to be done about immigration. I'm not going to pretend that I have the answers, but something needs to be done with illegal immigration or those who overstay their asylum visas. I think, those are the topics that are really on the table. So for those of you who are trying to come over here and just get jobs or study and go on with your lives, if you're holding an American passport, Canadian passport, Australian, Brit, whatever, you're fine. That's not what this is about. So please rest assured, everything's fine. So I tell you all the time, if you're not satisfied with your life, you're not satisfied with your situation, do something about it. And the local elections or the recent elections in Europe and Germany have not changed anything. So still a bright future. Until next time, my friends, stay safe and stay smart. Cheers.